Being a kicker in the NFL is a thankless job. You could be automatic all season, but one mistake, one kick, and that's all fans ever remember. Some of the guys on this list weren't even bad across their careers. In fact, a few were among the best in the league at times. But when the lights were brightest, they missed. Others never lived up to the hype in the first place, flaming out before they ever had a chance to prove themselves. So today, let's take a look back at 10 kickers whose names have been infamous for heartbreak, for draft busts, and for unforgettable misses. We've got to start with Mike Vanderjagt. Statistically, he was once the most accurate kicker in NFL history, but fans don't remember the makes. They remember the choke. 2005 divisional playoffs, Colts vs. Steelers. With the game on the line, Vanderjagt had a 46-yard attempt to tie it. Instead, he sent the ball sailing so wide right it barely stayed on the TV. Peyton Manning later called him the idiot kicker, and that label stuck. It didn't matter that Vanderjagt had a strong career. In the NFL, it only takes one infamous miss to define you, and for him, that was it. He's a perfect example of how fragile a kicker's reputation is. You could be perfect for years, but one meltdown erases it all. Next up, we've got Scott Norwood. The Bills fans probably just winced hearing that name. Super Bowl 25. The Bills trail the Giants 20-19. With seconds left, Norwood lines up a 47-yard field goal to win it all. The ball leaves his foot and sails just wide right. The Bills lose, and the phrase "wide right" is etched into football history. Here's the thing, Norwood wasn't a terrible kicker. He hit plenty of clutch field goals in his career, but when your biggest moment comes on the biggest stage in sports and you miss, that becomes your legacy forever. For Buffalo, it was the first of 4 straight Super Bowl heartbreaks, and Norwood, fairly or unfairly, became the symbol of that pain. Coming up, we've got Roberto Aguayo, maybe the biggest kicker draft bust of all time. In college at Florida State, Aguayo was automatic. The Bucs were so convinced they spent a second-round pick on him in 2016, the highest for a kicker in more than a decade. And then, disaster. He went 22 of 31 on field goals as a rookie, one of the worst percentages in the league. By the next season, Tampa Bay cut him. A second-rounder, gone just like that. To this day, Aguayo's name is brought up anytime people talk about bad draft picks, and he only needed one season to earn it. His career shows just how differently college pressure and NFL pressure really are. It's one thing to hit kicks on Saturdays, it's another to line up with your job on the line on Sundays. Before we get to the next kicker, quick timeout. If you're enjoying this trip through NFL heartbreak, do me a favor, hit that like button and subscribe. And let me know in the comments, which kicker scarred your team the most? Well, let's stick with heartbreak, because Cowboys fans will wince when they hear this name. Next up is Maher. Maher had one of the strangest careers you'll ever see. He could hit from 60-plus yards with ease. He even tied the NFL record with 3 field goals of 60 or more in his career. But when it came to kicks that mattered most, especially extra points, he completely unraveled. The low point came in the 2022 playoffs against the Buccaneers when Maher missed 4 extra points in a single game, something no kicker had ever done in NFL postseason history. Even though the Cowboys won that night, fans had zero confidence in him after that meltdown, and Dallas eventually moved on. Unlike some kickers who just fade away quietly, Maher left behind a bizarre legacy. A guy with a monster leg who somehow couldn't handle the shortest kicks on the field. To this day, whenever Cowboys fans talk about playoff heartbreak, Maher's name always comes up. And next up is Lin Elliott, a kicker who went from reliable to despised in one afternoon. The 1995 Chiefs were Super Bowl contenders. Hosting the Colts in the playoffs, Elliott had 3 chances to help his team advance. He missed all 3. Kansas City lost 10-7 and fans never forgave him. Missing 1 kick in January is bad. Missing 2 is brutal, but missing 3? That's career-ending. And sure enough, Elliott was gone the following year. Chiefs fans still put him at the top of their personal worst kicker ever list. Some fans even say it was one of the lowest points in franchise history. right up there with playoff losses decades later. Moving on, we've got Doug Brien, and this one still stings Jets fans. 2004 divisional playoffs against Pittsburgh. Brien had not one but two shots to win it. He missed from 47 yards and again from 43, both in the final 2 minutes. The Steelers won in overtime and the Jets' season was over. For New York fans, those misses became yet another chapter in their long history of playoff heartbreak. Brien never recovered, and he was cut the next year. Some argue those two kicks set the Jets back years. They felt cursed, and in true Jets fashion, it became part of the franchise's reputation for finding new ways to lose. And then there's Gary Anderson, and this one still breaks Viking fans' hearts. In 1998, Anderson was perfect, 35 for 35 on field goals, flawless all year. Minnesota went 15-1 and looked destined for the Super Bowl. But in the NFC Championship against Atlanta, with the chance to put the game away, Anderson missed a 38-yarder. His only miss of the entire season, and it came at the worst possible time. The Falcons came back, forced overtime, and won. For Vikings fans, that kick is still the ultimate gut punch. Anderson's career numbers were outstanding, but he'll always be remembered as the man who missed when the dynasty was on the line. And next up is Jake Moody, a kicker who spent part of 3 seasons in San Francisco but was just released a few weeks ago. Despite being drafted in the 3rd round in 2023, a rare high pick for a kicker, Moody never quite delivered the consistent clutch leg the 49ers hoped for. He had some high points, including a long rookie field goal and a Super Bowl record 55-yard kick, but his overall accuracy declined and critical misses piled up. Fans and coaches alike began to lose confidence as Moody's struggles carried into the 2025 opener. A missed 27-yard chip shot and a blocked 36-yard attempt ultimately cost him his job. In football, your legacy often comes down to your reputation when the pressure is highest. And Moody, despite flashes of promise, never managed to shake the label of inconsistent in clutch moments. Next, let's talk about Cody Parkey. And if you're a Bears fan, you already know where this is going. The 2018 wild card against the Eagles. Chicago down 1. Parkey lines up a 43-yard game winner. The kick is up. Doink off the upright, doink off the crossbar. The double doink was born, and the Bears were done. Technically, the kick was tipped at the line, but Parkey had already hit the upright 6 times that season. Fair or not, fans were not forgiving. His name is now forever tied to one of the most painful moments in Bears history. That single sound, doink, doink, is enough to trigger flashbacks for Chicago fans to this day. And last but not least, we have Bob Timberlake, because Giants fans in the 1960s still shake their heads at this one. Bob Timberlake came into the league with enormous hype as an All-American quarterback for Michigan, but the Giants drafted him in 1965 to play kicker. The move backfired in spectacular fashion. Timberlake went just 1 for 15 on field goal attempts in his lone NFL season, one of the worst showings ever by a kicker. The Giants' offense was already struggling, and his misses only made a bad season even worse. Unlike some guys on this list who were solid but collapsed under playoff pressure, Timberlake never even got the chance. His name lives on as a cautionary tale, proof that being a great college athlete doesn't mean you can survive as an NFL kicker. Even today, when people talk about the worst kicking seasons in league history, Bob Timberlake is still at the top of the list. So there you have it, 10 of the most infamous kickers in NFL history. Some were solid players who just cracked under pressure. Others were straight up busts who never should have been drafted that high. But every single one of them is remembered for the same thing, missing when it mattered most. Which one hurts the most for you? Drop it in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss more deep dives into NFL history. See you on the next one.